Okay, for the quiz review, your last quiz on sine, cosine, and tangent, and law of sines and law of cosines. We've got 5 questions for your quiz, and 1, 2, 3 of them are multiple choice. So my biggest first hint is please make sure you are in degree mode with your calculator. You might have caught yourself on any of the worksheets or practice being in radian, it gives you the wrong answer. So let's take a look at this first drawing I have over here. You see a right triangle, so you know you can use sine, cosine, and tangent. And there'll be a question such as, find the sine ratio of, let's say, k. All you're simply going to do is go look at your k angle, so it's like right here. I want the sine ratio. Well, we know sine is opposite over hypotenuse, or some old hippie for those Harrington fans. So opposite from here would be 9.7. So we'd say sine of k equals 9.7 over the hypotenuse, which is 12. So there we have it. That'd be the answer. Just if they ask for the sine, the ratio of the sine of k, you just put the opposite side over the hypotenuse side. Another quick example, what if they want the cosine ratio of k? Well, that's going to be your adjacent side, which is the 7, and your hypotenuse side, which is the 12. So we've got our ratio of sine of k and ratio of cosine of k. That will be a problem type on the quiz. Next one, we'll give you a right triangle and we'll ask for the perimeter of it. This one's going to take us just a couple seconds here, but if I look at the angle, I know it has a 90 down here at L, and I've got 37. If I want to find the perimeter, that means, of course, I want to find all 3 sides and add them together. So the first side I have is the 3, that's given. I need to use sine or cosine or something to find the other 2 sides. I'm actually going to start with sine of 38. And, oh, sorry, 37. That would be more helpful. Sorry, there's no 38 in this problem. So sine of 37, and I know sine is opposite, which is 3, over hypotenuse, which we'll call x. And now I need to solve this. A lot of times what I like to do, whether you've done it before on your packets, is put this over 1. So I can do cross multiplying. So I take 3 times 1, which is 3, equals x times sine 37. So x times sine of 37. So to get my x all alone now, I'm just going to divide by sine 37 on both sides. And again, if you have any other methods you've been using, they're probably good as well to solve for that. But when your hypotenuse is missing, you do have to do some dividing. So on my calculator, I'm just going to take 3. Again, make sure you're in degree mode. 3 divided by sine of 37 would give me 4.98. That'd be my x. So that finds just this side here, and I'm almost ready to find my third side. I could do cosine of 37, I could do tangent of 37, but I'm going to stick with good old Pythagorean theorem. I'm going to go, I'm going to sneak it up here, 3 squared plus, I'll call it y squared, I'll put a y down here, equals 4.98 squared. And so when I use Pythagorean theorem, I'm going to do 4.98 squared, and I'm going to subtract 3 squared from this side to get 3 squared away. So these go away. So 4.98 squared, take away 3 squared, which is 9, is going to leave me with, right up here, sorry, y squared equals 15.8, and then I need to square root both sides, and that gives me 3.97. So y equals 3.97. Sorry about the scrunch there. So for my perimeter, I would just add up all 3 of those circled numbers. Again, kind of a lot of work when they ask for just perimeter. Hey, add up all those sides. But if I add up all 3 of those circled numbers, I get a total of a perimeter is 11.95. Okay. So there's a ton more ways that you could actually solve that problem, but just make sure that you Use your sine, cosine, or tangent carefully and be in degree mode. All right, third type of problem you will see involves finding an angle. So if I look at this one, I'm going to put a 90 in here. Most of these have 90s on our picture. So they might say, find the measure of angle M. That's the measure of angle M. All right, so to find that one, I have the opposite side here and the adjacent side. So opposite and adjacent is TOA, my tangent. So I'm going to write tangent of M equals 3.7 over 9.1. That's my ratio of that angle M. So, sorry, I cut off that one there, 9.1. So if I just take, to solve this, you want to do that tangent inverse button. Inverses find angles. So tangent inverse of 3.7 over 9.1, you just truly type that in on your calculator. And take second tangent, we tangent inverse, 3.7 divided by 9.1. And you should get that angle M equals 22.13 degrees. All right, so that's your third type. It'll find an angle. You could find the other angle now, but you just do the adding up 180. So you're only going to have to find one angle on the quiz. All right, the fourth type of problem, those are the three that involve sine, cosine, and tangent as it relates to a 90 degree. Now we're going to move into law of sines and cosines. If you did much with this last year in Math 2, it was probably easier, but here's a little review. Just for a quick refresher, law of sines is like sine of a big angle A over its opposite side A equals sine of a big angle B over little b. And so that's law of sines, which you probably saw in your work this week. And then law of cosines in its glory is little c squared equals little a squared plus little b squared minus 2 times little a times little b times cosine of big C. So that's an angle. So this is law of cosines. So we'll use one of each of these on the next two problems, one for law of sines, one for law of cosines, and that's how the quiz is as well. All right, so let's go back and look at the fourth type of problem. Okay, so for this triangle, we can see we don't have a 90. We could even find this other angle up in the top corner if we wanted to, but for now, they're going to just ask you to solve for x. So I call this a papa angle. Here's the big papa angle and his little baby across from him. And now I have another angle here, but I don't really care about this side over here. So while I mentioned, oh, we could find this angle up here, let's go ahead and do that by adding 99 plus 14 and subtracting that from 180. So 180 minus 99 plus 14. Just kidding. Better subtract 14 there. Need to subtract all of that, sorry. Will be my 67. So this 67 degrees goes up in here. And the reason I want that is because that's my other papa angle, if you will. And then here's the baby. So now we can set up law of sines. I've got sine of 14 over 8.6. And then equals sine of 67 over x. And now we're ready to do a cross multiplication problem. Okay, my 7 kind of got there. All right, so we're going to take sine of 86 or sine of 67 times 8.6. I'm just going to write that out for right now. Sine of 67 times 8.6 equals my other cross multiply, which is x times sine of 14. And to get x all alone, now I'm just going to divide by sine 14 on both sides. Use parentheses probably when you're typing this in, again in degree mode. So if I took sine of 67 times 8.6 and then divided that answer by sine of 14, I get x to be x equals 32.7. So check that you get that same answer, and we're done solving for it. That's how law of sines would look. All right, last problem here. Lots of cross multiplying. Just use parentheses carefully and be in degree mode. Okay, last one. Law of cosines coming at you. We have a big papa angle here, and his little baby's missing. Always a problem. So we want to use our law of cosines. My little papa angle, if you will, is missing. My little c, x squared, equals, it doesn't matter which one of these you call a or b. I could call this one a, I could call this one b. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to go 10 squared plus 17 squared minus 2 times 10 times 17 times cosine of 51. And that's it. That's because this little x baby is the one across from the 51, and we are set up. This truly is a plug and chug into your calculator really carefully. So 10 squared plus 17 squared minus 2 times 10 times 17 times cosine of 51. That gives me x squared equals 175.03, I hope. And then to solve for x, I need to square root both sides. So if I square root that answer, I get x equals 13.23. And we're done. They don't try to trick you. They really do set up law of cosines with, like, if you will, the big papa and the little baby missing. You use just that equation. It's just important that you line up, again, this red. The angle that you know has to be across from the opposite side there that are filled in on this equation, the beginning and the end. That should get you through the quiz this week, guys. It is your last quiz. It'll be up until next Monday, the 18th at 11:55 p.m. Next Tuesday on the 19th, you can bet I will put all 70% in for your final grade, no semester exam, and you will be done. So that is it for now. I'll send out at least one more text or email, and thanks so much for your hard work.